Mastery of these 4 skills will elevate the magnitude of value you bring as a leader. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, we lead, and we inspire. And that's a pretty big promise to deliver. And that sentence came from an article by a gentleman named Anthony Boyd. And the article was How to Become an Indispensable Leader by Developing These 4 Skills. Hey, I want to be a better leader. I'm reading, I'm learning. You should be as well. And I'm going to make a lot of quotes from Mr. Boyd's article because they're very, very good. But the key point I want to make once again is when you look at leadership, what is leadership? Leadership is taking the same skills, motivations, habits that an individual needs to be a success, a 5%er, and distributing them to the team, having them grasp those skills, having them want to follow behind you, and whether they do it consciously or not consciously, once you get them to do those things, because it's a law of nature, they will become successful. So let's get to this article. True leaders are indispensable because of their ability to unite people, despite their differences, to achieve multiple objectives that lead to accomplishing a superordinate goal. In Linchpin, Seth Godin once again hits the nail on the head. And I quote, "In great organizations is a sense of mission. The tribe is racking up accomplishments, going somewhere. That mission doesn't happen accidentally. A linchpin helps lead, and she connects people in the organization actively and with finesse. This takes emotional labor, and it can't be done by following the instructions in a manual." Unquote. What we're talking about here, folks, is emotional intelligence. That's because it's the glue that holds your leadership organization together. Without emotional intelligence, you have no influence, and without influence, you have no leadership. The foundation of emotional intelligence is as follows, and these are the things that the author says are the key elements, and I wouldn't necessarily disagree. The first is direct communication. Second, active listening. Third, empathy. 4, rapport building efforts. And number 5, body language. Now, when you stop and think about these 5 components, let's say that you are, I don't know, how about a dad, and you have a son, and your son, and it can be a son of virtually any age. It could be a son who's 4 years old, 5 years old, 10 years old, 16 years old, Eli. What are the key components to being a good parent, to being a good leader? First of all, number 1, direct communication. Looking eyeball to eyeball, talking directly with your son, directly with the person you're trying to help. Secondly, actively listening to what they have to say so that you're able to put yourself in their shoes and to feel what they feel and perhaps adjust the scenario for them to see, like, that's what you're seeing, but that's not the reality. This is the reality, and then help them with it. Empathy, once again, feeling what they feel. All right, not feeling sorry for them. That's sympathy. Too many people have sympathy. Bob Anderson, my main mentor, used to tell me, stop being sympathetic and start being empathetic. You're not there to feel sorry for them. You're there to help them to overcome their challenges and to achieve more. That takes empathy. So get rid of sympathy, focus on empathy. Rapport building efforts. My goodness, when you have a 16-year-old son, let's say, is there any time in their life when they think, boy, am I more disconnected from my dad than I can ever be at age 16? I mean, he doesn't know what's going on in my life. He doesn't know about girls. He doesn't know what's going on in school. He doesn't know about basketball. There are so many different things going, especially now with all of these additional challenges that we as adults have not faced before. I mean, usually you can say, I mean, let's suppose Eli has a scenario with a girl, you know, hopefully I can sit there and I can comfort him, I can give him some advice and move him along in the right direction. I've been there, I've done that. I felt awkward with girls. I feel awkward with women, but that's another video. My point is that this particular scenario that we're facing right now is awkward for everybody. It's a new normal. So building a rapport and establishing that relationship is so key to forward movement. By the way, once again, we're not just talking about a dad and a son, we're talking about a leader and the people in his or her tribe. Does that make sense? And finally, the last one is body language. One of the things when you have a little boy or a girl or even somebody, a teenager, and they come to you, you can see by their posture that they're down. And posture absolutely affects the way that you feel. We've spoken before about how a fighter, you know, is in the ring, they're loose, so on and so forth, the bell rings, ding, ding, and they're ready. And when you change your posture, when you change your body language, it also changes your attitude. That's one of the things that when I have a meeting with a lot of people, typically what I'll do when I'm the main speaker is I'll have them go through a series of physical things, not too physical, but a little physical, to get their body in motion and to get their attitude on, right, get their head straight, get them on right, get them focused. And then when they sit down, it's like different than just sitting back. All right, Eli's dad's gonna talk, let's take notes. Boy, is he boring. He was boring the last time. Oh, anyway, my point is you want people to be sitting there and to be excited and go, okay, what are we gonna do today? What's the new topic for today? So a key thing is body language. So once again, the 5 things that we talk about: direct communication, active listening, empathy, rapport building, and body language. Now, what's the common thread that runs through emotional intelligence? Answer: humility. When you possess the humility to tap into the emotional component of leadership, you're going to go places. That's because humans are emotional and social by nature. And there's no way around that. Once again, let me quote Seth Godin. Quote, "Humility is our antidote to what's inevitably not going to go according to plan. Humility permits us to approach a problem with kindness and not arrogance." All right, getting back to the business sector. When something inevitably goes wrong, it could be a problem with morale within the team. It could be a disgruntled team member who has some gripe. And it might prove to be a bit of an annoyance on your end as the leader. But how else would you get a disgruntled team member on board with the rest of the team unless you have the emotional intelligence and humility to let them know how important they are to the team without feeling like you're enabling their bad behavior by placating them? You know, there's always room for being firm, but our first instinct as leaders should be compassion. Just as the first instinct you have with your children as a parent should be compassion. And without humility, compassion is not possible. Once again, I want to give a big shout out to Anthony Boyd, the writer of the article, How to Become an Indispensable Leader by Developing These Skills. And because we will never end a meeting on a philosophical note, Let's continue to add to our skill set and charge! I'm Eli's dad.